Hello, good evening, happy Friday. Welcome to Easy 8's Online Painting Club. My name's Danny. It says it right down there at the bottom of the screen. I hope you've all been well since the last time that we got together and spoke and painted and chatted and stuff. I've had a very busy week. I've done very little with painting, but I've been thinking lots of ideas and lots of stuff has happened inside the studio and outside the studio. If you're new here to Easy 8, it's not a tutorial or anything like that at all. There's loads of that stuff already out there on the internet and out on YouTube. You should go and check all that sort of stuff out. This is just an online painting club. It's just a social club for you to come along and paint through your miniatures, get through that big hoard of grey plastic that's sat there unpainted for 20 years or however long it is, so that you can come along socialise with these guys over here in the live chat and me, just sat here by myself in my studio alone. Anyway, I'm not alone. My dad's there. Hi, Jeff. He's the only one that's online at the moment. I'm expecting a few other people to come on in this evening. Yeah, if you are new, you like what we do, we're not just here on YouTube. We're here on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're also on Discord. So if you fancy sticking around at the end of the show to have a chat with me in person and with the rest of the community as well, you can come and join us at Discord at the Easy 8 after party after the show. I'll be on there for maybe an hour at least at the end of tonight's show. If you like what we do, drop us a like, drop us a follow. Don't forget to subscribe, because every little bit that you do really helps me improve this channel, helps me become a better person, makes me happy, and makes the channel grow, which is absolutely what I want. Jeff says, hi Dad. How's it going? It's just me and you tonight. Could have just popped around for a cup of tea, couldn't I? Yeah, so if you like what we do, yeah, drop us a subscribe. That'd be great. There's quite a few people out there that watch this show all around the world, which is fantastic. I never ever dreamed that Easy 8 would have gone global, but we support other private businesses and YouTube channels through this channel by calling them out and shouting them out and kind of letting you know all about them. One of those is John Techax from Out of This World Minis and Models, or Models and Minis, I always get that mixed up, who will be watching the show on replay later on, because he's about 8 hours behind, and that puts a bit of a strain on your Friday. So John, when you're watching this back, hi mate, hope you're doing well. And of course there's Graham Henderson with Wet Palette Miniatures, who is somewhere in the Midlands in the UK with me. I'm not in the Midlands, I'm right down the bottom, right down in the rural bits down there, but there's loads of people everywhere. We've got some other people come to join us. We've got Staff of course. He says, yeah, made it. And Dave Lester, evening. Hi guys, welcome to the show, thanks for coming along. Something that I wanted to get off my chest before the show really goes too far is of course the events that are going on over in Russia and the Ukraine right now. The Ukraine. The Easy 8 is not a political platform by any means. It's just simply not. It's a social place for people to come and chill out. That being said, it's very difficult to ignore what's going on right now in the world, and I was personally moved by a statement that went out by a company which is well known on the internet, called Tiny Furniture. I normally do shout outs for companies sort of halfway through the show, but it just feels like a very good thing to do now, given the nature of the dilemma that's occurring. Tiny Furniture are a fantastic private business. I believe they're a family business. I could be wrong on that one. They're very prominent on Facebook. They design and 3D print everything you could want in the tiniest of scales for your Dungeons and Dragons campaigns, for the games that you just want minis for that they just don't make, and they make people, they do sculptures, they do like bookcases and furniture. It's amazing. And if you don't know who they are, or you've only heard them and you haven't checked them out, there's a link in the description. Please go and check them out. Tiny Furniture made a statement on their Facebook story yesterday, and they are Russian, and they obviously don't support what's happening over there at the moment. Obviously it's a scary time for everybody, and it's affecting everyone, and I just felt utterly compelled yesterday to write them a message. So the first time I've ever spoken to them, and I just dropped them a message through Facebook, just letting them know that we're here, I'm here. And I know Easy 8 is rough around the edges, to say the least. I know it's small, and I know it's not very good. That's not the point. The fact is that I reach people through this platform, and I just wanted them to know that we're here and we stand. I certainly stand by them in solidarity, and I just wanted them to send them a message of peace and just to let them know that I'm thinking of them in this difficult time. So Tiny Furniture, if you are watching this, even live or in replay, I wish you all the very best. Please stay safe, and hopefully this crisis will come to an end soon with as little trouble as possible. That's all I'm going to say on it, because like I say, Easy 8 is not a political platform. I just felt that it was important to say. So go check out Tiny Furniture. They're phenomenal, and buy some stuff from them. Go drop them a like. Go drop them a follow. Whatever it is you have to do on Facebook. Yeah, go show them that you love them. Anyway, that's enough of that. Tiny Furniture. Brilliant. So, I would love to know what it is that you're doing this evening. If you are painting a project, if you're building a project, if you're drawing something, if it's hobby related, I don't really mind. Let us know. I'd love to know what it is that you're doing. I've had people on this show who are making the little pixelated diamond art canvases. They're fantastic. Those people out there that have been doing them have inspired my partner to do them. So that's great. Look at you guys out there inspiring people here in the studio. Yeah, fantastic. Chris, who isn't online at the moment, Chris is doing some fantastic... Oh, excuse me, I'm hiccuping again. I do this every week. I've just had dinner. Very garlicky bread as well. Chris is doing some phenomenal canvas painting and drawings, and just comes along to this channel to shed out. So if you're doing something right now, drop it over there if you want to. Talk about it in the live chat. If you want to celebrate your successes, if it's a failure and you want to talk about it, get some tips, advice from these guys, from me, whatever it is, then we're all here to support each other. And I will be painting my Carnifex, Brenda, and hopefully getting somewhere near completion. I don't think I'm going to complete it tonight. There's still quite a bit to do on here, but I'm going to get like the majority of it done tonight. There we go. Luke's joined us. Hi, Luke. Hello, just popping in for a few minutes. Hope all are well. Work killed me today, so I'll watch on playback. Enjoy painting small things. Cheers, Luke. I hope you're well. Please don't die. That would be terrible. Hope work wasn't really that bad. Yeah, stay safe, bro. See you soon. Staff says, building a Tiger 2 that we bought at Bovington. Yes. If you have been here for the last few weeks, you will know that Easy 8 went on the road the other week. So we went to Bovington Tank Museum. It was fantastic. We got to meet loads of people from all of the Easy 8 community. Went down to Bovington Tank Museum for the Southwest Model Show, which was great, and we got to look at all of the models from so many different like collectors and clubs, and of course they were making models of the tanks that they are sat right beside. And I've been to Bovington before, and it's a brilliant experience. I recommend, even if you're not into tanks, to go there and have a look at it. It is a fantastic collection. And there were some people from the community of Easy 8 that went down that they've never been there before, so it was a mind-blowing experience for all. And I remember meeting Stafford, who had never stood in front of a Panther before, and it is a big tank, isn't it, mate? Yeah, I think the one thing that we all took from that was Stafford repeatedly saying, I cannot believe how big it is. There are bigger tanks than the Panther. You just expect the Panther to be smaller. It's not wide, it's quite long, but it's just so tall. It's weird. It's like a small, it's like a house. It's like an apartment with a giant gun on it. It's huge. And then of course there's the only fully operational Tiger 1 in the world, sat there as well, Tiger 131. That was in the film Fury. We all got to go and rub our dirty little fingers all over that. It's a beautiful tank. And then of course there was my favourite, the Panzer IV, tank number 419. Just a beautiful tank. The collection is just brilliant. And we all hope to go back again, maybe a month or two down the line. We were going to go for both days, and we didn't, because we saw everything in spades, and it was really, really good. We saw so much of it that we didn't feel that we needed to go back a second day, because we took in so much from both the museum and the model displays and the traders that were there, that actually, because the traders and the displays and everything, that they're all kind of not in the way, but they're kind of covering up a lot of the detail stuff that's there. For example, there's the Sherman Firefly, beautiful tank, and beside all of these collections, they've got like all the rounds of ammunition that they would load into the cannon, but you can't see a lot of these details, and you can't walk all the way around because obviously they got all the traders there, etc. And that's not bouncing. That invites us back for a second go later. If we were to go back the second day, everything would have been exactly the same, and we just kind of rinse repeating. We were planning to go second day in case we missed out on other stuff, but we had a very full experience, and I had a really, really good time. Yeah, the Panther is big. So watch this space, because Easy 8 and its community are going to revisit Bovington, and it's really affordable and it's really easy to get to. It's just such a wonderful day out. So yeah, if you're interested, maybe let us know down there in the comment section, and we can connect you with us, the community, which is growing. It's great. Stafford says, I can't believe how big it is. It is huge. It's the King Tiger, the Tiger 2, that made its it made an impression on me. Like I say, I've seen it before. I've been there, I stood in front of it. Last time I went, the Tiger 2, though impressive, didn't leave me wowed. It was just like, oh, they're cool. There it is. It is a phenomenal tank. But just standing in front of it this time, I got, I suppose, a different perspective. I got a different feel for it. It's a beast. And then they've got the Jagdtiger there as well. I believe it's pronounced Jagdtiger, but it's basically the Hunting Tiger 2, which has got a casemate, so a fixed turret, and it's got the largest cannon that was used in the Second World War. It is the size of a house. It is bigger than some of the houses that I live around. It's just huge. Yeah, so we all bought toys, basically. We bought loads of models. I bought a series of 50mm tanks for playing Water Tanker. I believe Stafford did as well. I believe Adrian, who hasn't been live on the show for a little while but is one of our regular viewers, he bought some too. Dave, did you buy anything? I can't remember if you did buy anything. We bought loads. Jeff says they got a good shop too. They do have a good shop. In fact, a lot of the 15mm tanks are very hard to get a hold of nowadays. For some reason, I don't know why. You go online, it's very difficult to buy 15mm tanks or tanks from Flames of War. But they've got loads of stuff there. I bought the model kit Zvezda. From Zvezda. They're brilliant. Kez went along with us as well. Kez bought... actually, they didn't have it in the shop. They just had it on display, which is... I can't remember the name of the company that make it, but it's basically like a caricature tank. So it's like a Sherman with a really long barrel, but it's only got like one bogey set in there. It's got like it's really stubby and kind of, yeah, it's just a fun model. Wanted to buy it, it wasn't there, so Kez got straight on the internet and ordered it and bought it before we'd left the shop on our way out, and has it. And if you want to see it, it is on Easy 8's Facebook page, besides some Matchbox cars or Hot Wheels cars, because she wants to use it in games of Gaslands. Brilliant. Yeah, so there you go. It's a great shop. You should definitely go. Dave says, no, I didn't this time, but maybe next time. Yeah, cool. You don't have to buy everything. Take away memories. Adrian took 137 photos, and they are all, I believe they are all on Easy 8 Facebook page. Fantastic. It was a great day out. Thanks for coming, guys. It was great. Toon Tanks. Yeah, it might have been Toon Tanks. Yeah. It's not the name of the brand, though. I can't remember. It was a cartoony tank. It's brilliant fun. Anyway, let's move over to the workbench. I'm so excited, clearly. So here is my Carnifex that I have been painting for the last few weeks. Yeah, so I have been doing all the bone colours on it. I've been playing around with the greys on the forearms and the exoskeletons and things. And I've made some decisions about how I'm going to change my Tyranids. If I compare the Carnifex here to this Brood Lord, you remember a few weeks ago I was talking about how the colour of the claws on the feet here match the colour of the carapace of whatever object it is that he stood on. That's fine, but it kind of blends in a little bit and you can't really see it. So I've decided that claws will be bony colours, and carapace and spikes and other bits and pieces, whatever is aesthetically desirable at the time, will be grey. So I'm going to go back over my collection. Shouldn't take too long. Just do the claws on the feet on this fella and his hands and make them bone. And I've got some hormagaunts and things like that, which shouldn't take too long. The reason I did them grey in the first place is because the inspiration for this colour scheme came from an image that I saw on Google Images when I was just searching for Tyranny colour schemes some years ago, and there was a cute Nids image that someone had painted, and there's like a couple of hormagaunts in this colour scheme, grey carapace and claws and things, and yellow skin, and I thought that's fantastic. So that's what I copied. I didn't. I was thinking at the time, shall I do bony claws? I decided not to at the time, but like Jeff, my dad, had said a few weeks ago that the way to make these look smart and kind of draw focus to these claws is to sort of separate the colours a bit. And you're absolutely right. So that's where I'm going with that. So what I want to do tonight is I want to just highlight these little thorns that are sticking out here. That's what I was painting at the end of last week. It's a thornback model. Or part of the thornback model. The idea is that these are little barbs that they can shoot out as like a close range attack. I painted them all bone colour, it's like an off-white colour, screaming skull, and then I washed them with sepia and dropped a little tiny bit of agrax, which just was to kind of go around the circles at their bases, just to make them pop a little bit. They've got some contrast in there, it's really, really cool. The sepia tone has made them look a little bit too yellowed. So the idea is now to just kind of go in and just pick the tips of them up again with a little bit of the original colour. This is a little bit on the thicker side. I quite like it. It's a very good paint. It's got a really good coverage for a whitish colour, and it's got a good texture to it. But when I started doing it, I overdid this one. I don't know if that shows up on the camera quite so well, but it's undone all the sepia work. So I think I need to go through maybe with the Vallejo version, which is bone white. It's ever so slightly whiter, but it's a bit easier to handle if I'm just doing the tops. It's a bit more watery. I have to do less work with it to kind of get it to the right consistency. So that's what I'm going to start with. Let me get my brush. Here it is. Yeah, so if you are working away on a project this evening, drop it in the live chat. Let me know. I'd love to know what it is that you're working on. Take some pictures of it, stick it on Facebook, on the Easy 8 Facebook page. Facebook has recently had an update and it's kind of changed things a little bit. So if I'm missing things on there and not replying to you or whatever, apologies in advance. Yeah, it looks kind of tidier from my perspective. I just, it's changing it. That is coming out a little bit on the runny side. That's like water, so I just need to give that a good old shake up. So I'm just going to hit that on the old tornado paint mixer thingy. There are so many things that you can do to your paints to mix them up and whatever. Luke's Advanced Painting Services, Luke's APS, Luke Fellows, he's very well known in the community, has done an entire video on just how to get paints the right consistency, despite them being sold at a good consistency, on how to make them come out perfect. I don't have the time for it. He's absolutely right, and he's done a really good job on it. But I just give them a good old shake and then waz them up in the little tornado machine that I've got in the corner, just because this is his job, is what he does, and I am very busy before I get into the studio, and sometimes I'm very lucky to get in here at all. So the time that I'm doing his style, I'm losing on actually painting my models, which is a shame, because that video I found to be quite useful, quite handy, good knowledge. So I'm going to mix a little bit of water in there just to thin that paint right down, and then I'm going to clean my brush out, dry it, just to pick up I just want a tiniest amount of this paint on my brush. I don't want to oversaturate it at all, because I'm just trying to highlight very, very small details, and as proven already, if I go in too heavy with a highlight, I kind of undo all the wash work on it. Leslie says, hi, I'm here. Sorry I'm late. How is everyone? Hi, Leslie. Nice to see you again. I'm very well. Thank you very much for asking. I hope you're doing well this week. Don't worry about being late, man. It's all for you. You can come back whenever you want and watch the beginning if you like. That's all cool. But cheers. It's very polite of you. Right. So I think I've got a good consistency here. Just trying to remove a little bit there. I'm just gonna do the very pinpoint tops of them, like snow-capped mountains. And they look quite yellowy because, well, the whole scheme's got a lot of yellow in it. So yeah, even though they might not actually be yellow, it's very easy to have your eyes tricked, I think. Some comments going in. Hi Leslie, hey Stafford, are you guys? That's my American accent. I'm so sorry if I offended anybody with that. Yeah, barely anything on the paintbrush there. In fact, in some cases, it's actually quite hard to see if I'm actually dropping anything on there. But when I sort of pull away and I see the whole thing, I can see what I've actually done. I've had quite a very small but effective impact. I think I just need to be careful about how much sepia I put on in the future. Maybe I should like water it down more or add a bit of medium. Just to, you know, thin that wash down. Got this one rogue bristle on my brush. There we go. I think it's pretty good. About from the back, that's where I see it. See this model mostly because it's charging towards the enemy and away from me. Beautiful. Leslie says, I'm good, thanks buddy. Been recording music, had some lovely food with my folks, and damn dude, the Carnifex is looking awesome. Those details are brilliant. Thanks man, I hope you enjoyed your time with your folks. She's getting there, isn't she? She's come a long way from her very awkward origins of not looking all that great. Just a few things now just to finish her off. One of the things I'm going to be doing with this paint in a minute is getting it into these little I don't know, little vents or whatever they are on the side of these chimneys, so I can whiten them up, and then I'll put a little bit of Reichland Flesh Shade, which not Reichland Flesh Shade, it's Crimson, Caribou Crimson, which will turn it this pinky colour. I think I overdid it with this pink, and it's gone quite heavy, and it's not as good as I want it to be. So I'm going to try and tone this down by maybe just highlighting a little bit in there. Yeah, just bringing out a few of the details. She needs her eyes done. I like mine to be really quite pale blue. Obviously, don't need it on this side because it's skull face. Yeah. I've got to do the pipes over here, which I'm going to have a little play with later. And then, of course, I've got to do the barrels of the guns, which need some sculpting. That might be one of the few things I have to come back for. Yeah. It's not looking so bad. I'm really quite impressed with her. As time goes on, I'll get better at the effects that I want to do on the carapace. But I'm happy where she is. She's done me proud so far. And then the base, obviously. Also, these guns, because they are their own creature and they are symbiotic with the carrier, it has an eye here. So I'll bring that out white. I think there's one on the inside as well. Does it have one on the inside? It doesn't. We have some claws on the inside though of the carrier beast, so I'm going to white those up because I said claws on the hands and feet will be like TT colours. So if I just did that, I know it's not the Screaming Skull colour, but it's close enough for such a tiny little detail. Okay, there we go. Put her down for a minute. And have a sip of tea. Jeff asks, am I going to gloss the pink bits? I hadn't thought about doing it. I could do. I've glossed the insides of their mouths. So where her tongue is poking out, I would gloss in there. Not entirely happy with the colour of my tongues either. Like the tongue there is okay. I think I might need to darken it perhaps. I'm not entirely sure. I've shown the Trygon in the past, which I'm currently working on at the same time, and I've done that like it's coming out like a purpley colour. It's a little bit of dust and fuzz on that one there. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that tongue colour. So yeah, I've got some work to do in there, but that would all be glossy. I don't know. What do you reckon? Do you think that the pink parts would look good if I glossed them, or even made them satin? So there's a difference in the, you know, the sort of textures. Is it textures? The finish. Yeah. Any ideas for the base as well? More than welcome. I'm thinking about just doing like a bit of a cratery bit and a, you know, like an acid pool or something. Just get her finished. Put her to the side. She's done then. Yeah, let us know what you think. I think I'm just going to carry on using the bone white from Vallejo rather than the Screaming Skull, just because it's nice and runny. It's got a good consistency. It might not have the coverage that I want, but just to kind of do all those little vents and things on there now. There's a little bit of a blockage in there. In the bottle. Oh, do you know what? The bone light is blocked and I can't be bothered to sort that out on the live stream, so I'm going to go to Screaming Skull. Is it Brenda the Trygon? No, I think it's Susan the Trygon and Brenda the Carnifex. Brenda the Sherbet Carnifex. I'm sure it was that way around. I could be wrong. I mean, Brenda the Carnifex sounds great. You guys named them, not me. I like it. It sounds safe, right? The sort of person you go to talk about some personal problems. You know, hi Brenda. What if you take a minute to listen to my problems? Lulled in, full sense of security. Turns out Brenda's a Carnifex, and then she eats your face. Who knew? Right, nice little texture there. I think I have enough paint for a while in my wet palette. And I'm going to start on... I don't think I have vents on the inside, so let me bring myself into the actual shot here. I don't think I have... yeah, nothing there. But on the outside, there's these vertical vents. So I'm just going to... Small amount of paint. Thin that point right out. There we go. I'm just going to try my best to be as neat as I can. Get this in there. Leslie says, ah yes, Brenda the Sherbet Carnifex, the cutie she is. Yeah. We're looking at a new codex possibly coming out. I know that there's contention around how often Games Workshop re-releases the rules and the codexes, and it costs a lot of money to keep up with it, but you know, that's how a business keeps on going. It doesn't take much for them to, you know, to lose profit and then to stop producing altogether, and then where would we be? I don't mind paying the money for it. I wish it would be less often, but of course every time that they bring up the new, they update the rules, there's a opportunity for it to be even better, and it looks like this time around, especially with the recent Eldar rules updates that have been fantastic. I think Tyranids are next, and I'm hoping for some real cool new models, Tyranid concepts, general gribbliness, and then of course I'll be looking to actually have a game with some people. Some people have invited me over for some games. I know Leslie's out there itching for a fight. I'm gonna eat you. But of course you do play Death Guard and they are notoriously tough. Carnifexes in the last few editions haven't been the hard hitters they've always been. There are other things that do their job better or more cost effectively than them. But I don't play like that. I take the things I like the look of, or I like how they are in the lore, because 40k for me isn't just a game, it's its own world. It's such a vast universe, and in the widely accepted multiverse theory, they actually exist. So that's scary. Somewhere out there right now, Easy 8 Online Painting Club is being live streamed in a world that is being attacked by Tyranids. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Yeah. Leslie says, when you get that codex, I'm more than happy to have a game. Brilliant. Challenge accepted. Right, I'm just going to get a bit more paint in the brush. I'm actually using the wrong paint there. I've got two very similar colours together. Good chance to wash the brush out. Clean your brush out regularly. If this was a tutorial, that's what I'd be saying. Talking of tutorials, I've actually had quite a few requests recently for some tutorials, and I'm more than happy to do that. I don't think I'm filling a void, that exists out on the internet. I think it already exists out there, like I said at the beginning of the show, at the beginning of every show. But if it's what you guys want, I'm more than happy to do it. And actually, the people who've been requesting tutorials have been requesting tutorials of things that I talk about on the show. So it's not that just, oh, can you show me how to do something that we already know how to do, or that already exists out there, which is cool, by the way. It's like talking at, wanting to show off things that I talk about on this show, and developing the techniques that I pursue. So, for example, Grimdark. Again, those tutorials already exist out there, but when you pursue something as your own technique, you develop your own style. And I've been doing lots of research on it, trying to find my own way of doing it, and I'm working towards it. So I just wanted to let you know that Easy 8 is growing, developing personally in itself for you guys. And I'm humbled to be in a position where I can show you how to do something, even if I'm not that good at it. But of course, what I think I do differently is the fact that it is live. So while that is a benefit in the product that in my brand, is that I've got to consider how that's going to be put forward in a viable video. I can't do a 2-hour tutorial for something that would normally be put over in a 20-minute recorded video. So I've got to consider how it's going to be done live stream, because that is Easy H Stick. It's a live stream. So what I'm thinking, and I'd love your feedback from it, positive, negative, critique me, man. But what I'm thinking about doing is like doing a separate show on like one of my days off or something. I'm going to sit in the studio and I will just stream away, and I will have a go at it. And you can tune in if you're around. You can watch the whole unabridged event, and I will try to communicate within a reasonable time frame what it is that I'm trying to tutor, and then from that I will record or edit a more concise and redacted version, which I will try to get as short as I can, and then upload that into a separate volume on Easy 8 on YouTube, so that it can be viewed back as a shorter, more appropriate playback video. So let me know what you think on that. I've got no experience in pre-recorded work on YouTube, so there's a lot of time that I have to put into learning how to do that, because it's not just as simple as pushing a button. You know, you have to make it look good, and there's so many people out there that do YouTube well, so many that inspired me, and I can't just make that happen. It's not like a button to push that goes, ta-da, you're now a great YouTuber. I pale in comparison. That's an amazing cup of tea. Oh, every now and again you just get one. It's just raises the bar. So I've got a couple of vents here. There's one on the arms. There's one here. There's a couple in here. They're quite easy to see. There's one there and one there. I've actually already done this one for some reason. But also the elbow joints, they kind of got this like exposed rib thing. There's one in here behind the knee. It's quite hard to see, but because I'm painting I can see it. And there is one in there, which I suppose as I've done the other side, I might as well go in. Sometimes I'm a little too thorough, a little too perfectionist, and I think I waste a bit of time on that. But you know, because the other side is done, I'll quickly drop a bit of paint in here too. And it's just in this little crease here in the knee. That's all it is, just that little bit there. And it might show up, the pink bits. I do think I've gone in too heavy with the crimson wash, but that's a lesson learned for future Tyranids. Couple of comments going in. Where are we? Leslie said, would Tyranids crackle or pop if you put them in a pipe and smoke them? I don't know if I'm going to answer that. They definitely would crack. Pop, they would pop. Jeff says, I should finish and mould that big crater. A crater I sculpted would make a great last stand game. Yeah, absolutely it would. I've still got actually some of your resin craters here. Perhaps I'll do that on a show one day. I just do a little bit of easy kind of terrain, maybe an acid pool terrain. That would be cool. That could be good for one of the tutorials, right? Like a little standalone thing. Leslie says, Jeff, that sounds cool. I'm guessing that crater would be massive. Yeah, the crater was designed initially for custom specifications, but as far as I remember, it kind of became its own project in the end. The crater is big enough to put a 10-man Space Marine squad in it comfortably. So yeah, there's that. It offers them at least chest-high cover in 50% of the area, and then like sort of down to knees in others. So it's a terrain piece in and of itself. It's very cool. It's huge. Oh yeah, there you go. It's about a foot wide and would work as a dugout for about 30 troops. Oh, 30! Nice, dude, says Leslie. 30 troops. Yeah, it was a while ago that I saw it. Right, that's all them vents done. I only need to really give it the one coat, but I'm just gonna make another pass and just make sure that I've got all of the detail picked out there. Starting on this side, and it's just going up into the points, because these vents, they kind of go up into point at the top and at the bottom. I don't know, it's like maybe they grew rapidly and then they split, and then it kind of exposes some sort of flesh beneath them. I don't know, they just look cool, right? The guns have got them too. Down the side here, down the side there, down the side here and here. And I'm going to do the pipes not the same colour. I want to do them like a fleshy colour. I haven't yet worked that out. Right, okay, let's wash the brush out. Let's get a bit of Carabao Crimson. It's really warm in the house here tonight. The heating's been on all day because it's been absolutely freezing the last couple of days in the wake of the storms. We had a third one. After last week we had Eunice, we had Franklin just a couple of days later, and then there was a 2.8 earthquake in the Midlands, far away from me. But yeah, the world kind of fell into a hell pit for a while here in the UK. So yeah, it's been really cold basically, and then today it's been a beautiful, stunningly beautiful spring day with just a tiny nip in the air, and the heating's been on, and now I'm sweating. So much so that I actually shaved my head for the first time in months. But the beard's got to go. I've still got a creaky chair. I'm really sorry. Where's my crimson? Here it is. Caribou Crimson. I love this colour. It's really good. It has settled a little bit, so it needs a good shake. I'll put it on the vortex. I call it a vortex. It is not a vortex. It is a nail varnish shaker. It was a third of the price. I wonder if the vortex is better. This does for my needs. It's been a while since I've used the Caribou. Much better. There we go. Still got a little bit of pigment at the bottom there, but I'm not going to be using all of it. Lovely colour. Right. I will just drop a little bit of that into the wet palette. I'll put a bit more than that because it's not coming out at all. What's going on? There it is. And I think I'm going to thin it down a little bit because it's gone on quite rich and concentrated on the model, and that has caused me that oversaturation, which I don't want. So I just pop you there. Wash out the brush, and I'm gonna add a drop of water and a drop of glazed medium. I don't know why, I want to. That was quite a big drop of water actually. Maybe I shouldn't add too much more. Glaze medium has a different surface tension than water, so it is different. If you do get into doing glazes, glazes are less likely to have that coffee staining effect to them, but water has its place as well. There we go. Absolutely loving my new paint rack from Hobby Zone. If you are into the idea of arranging your paints into a rack, put a couple of pounds away a week or whatever, definitely go and shop for Hobby Zone stuff. It is insane. Okay, I have now a little bit of crimson here. I'm going to start. Should I do this bit here? Because I still yet to do the. Just do it, Danny. There's hardly anything in the paintbrush. Have I overwatered it? Maybe I need to pick a lot of this up in the bristles of this brush. Okay, I can see I'm carrying a lot here now. The point of my brush has disappeared. Yeah, I think there's too much water in that. That's okay. That's alright. I'll just I'll get a bit more wash out of the bottle. I'll just pick that up and clean that away. The mix that's in the wet palette just needs a bit more shade paint. I thought it was a big drop of water that I dropped in there. Okay, try again. This is one of the things that I'm really interested in, and I've yet to even come close to perfecting, is learning glazes. Everything to do with them, from mixing them, how colours work on certain colours, how you can use different colour temperatures on the same piece, on the same model. I find it fascinating. Okay, that's better. and just like I've done on the old tank models I've done before with a bit of the weathering, is I'm just kind of dabbing the paintbrush. I've got a lot more control over where it seems to be going, and the capillary action is forcing the paint out of the bristles and into the model itself. Lovely. That might dry paler, and I might need to come and make a second pass. I would rather do a second pass and get to the right colour than trying to get it in one go and not get it right. So here we go into the chimneys on the side here. And of course what you can do is you can hold the model at different angles so that you can force the gravity, if you like. So in the one I've just done up here, it wants to pull at the bottom, but if I tilt it, it then sort of goes to cover up the rest. I know it's not the most exciting thing to be looking at on the camera right now, but it's working. I'm just going to hold it like this for a minute, just so that they kind of, I don't know, get some sort of grip. And it starts to dry a little bit in there. I don't have my partner's hairdryer, but while it's this runny, it would just kind of blow it around and that would ruin it. So I'm just going to be patient, read some of the comments that are going in. Stafford says, I've just made the SDKFZ. It's so small compared to the Tigger 2. The SDKFZ, that is the Hanomag, the troop carrier half track, isn't it? Dave Lester says, how big was that Panther against Staff? Jeff says, big. Are you sure? Yeah, it is big, to be fair. It's a big old tank. I think it's one of the more impressive tanks in there to stand in front of, and hotly debated as one of the best tanks of the Second World War, despite the problems that they had. But for me, I still can't get over the wonder of the Panzer IV. It's roomy-ish inside, especially compared to some other tanks. Because let's talk about the Centurion that's cut in half. That's an eye-opener and a claustrophobia trigger, if ever you've seen one. Jeff says, "Oh yeah, yeah." The Panzer IV. It's just, I can say it now. Years away from what the Second World War ever was, because I'm sure that back then you wouldn't ever, be caught dead saying that the enemy's tanks are wonderful to, is a wonderful invention. I just like it. I think it looks cool. I think it's designed nicely. I think all of the tanks have a long way to go, obviously. But yeah, it's just my favourite tank, right? I just think it looks cool. Do I like it more than its very similar counterpart? Ever so slightly, yes. They look slightly different. The Panzer IV took over as the main tank from the Panzer III because it was more versatile for upgrades. So when they wanted to, not modulate or add things to it, whatever, they wanted to kind of swap things around and update things and put bigger guns on or smaller guns on or do this, do that, whatever, they could do more with the Panzer IV. And I think that is a kind of a cool and cunning aspect. I don't know if it was ever built like that by design. I think it was more by happy chance that it was. The colour is better in this thinned down version. Here it is very saturated pink, and here it is paler in the raised areas, and where the paint has settled into the recesses, it has gone darker. I'm just trying to make sure that the outlines are nice and defined by just going into the outlines and just giving it another drop. And I think that rather than adding water in the future, I think that contrast medium might be an interesting thing to add to it, but certainly just medium rather than water. But I do prefer it when it's paler. It's these tiny details that I can get carried away on, that eat into my time, so it's learning how to achieve them effectively and with some haste. I just dropped my paintbrush into some cat fur, because what would a show be without cat fur? Okay, cool. Staffer says, I can't believe. Yeah, man, it's a big tank. Do you know what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to mix up a separate puddle of this, just with the medium in it, just the normal medium for now. See how that goes. But while I do that, of course, because I rambled on quite excessively at the beginning, we are already at the time to have a break. So yeah, throughout the break, I will be just kind of working on this mixture, this medium. I'm having a great time. I don't feel I need a break. But if you do, yeah, you should go and stretch your legs, refocus your eyes. Leslie says, those tiny details count though, as Brenda is looking killer. Thanks, man. You deserve yourself a break. I deserve a break. So yeah, whatever it is that you're doing, just make sure that you go and change your paint water. All right? See you in a 10. Bye. welcome back. Hope you had a nice relaxing 10 minutes. I didn't leave the bench. Really got into working with the crimson now. I'm really fascinated, like I say, by how shades or washes, whatever you want to call them, work. And I think I've yet to really unlock that the potential from them. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to identify little details within a color block, so in this case mostly grey, sometimes yellow, but mostly grey, and I'm trying to like pale them out with the white color or off-white color and then turn them a pink color using the crimson shade, and then around the outsides trying to sort of border it like an outline, like you would a drawing, like a black line if you want, by making it a more intense color, and I'm finding that quite difficult. So I think I've got to try and learn like different ways of doing it. Do I do like a rich saturation like I've done previously, and then re-highlight them with the original color, and then put another thin layer over the top to try and balance those colors in? When it's tiny details, it doesn't really matter that much, but on some of it, it's because of its position, it's quite noticeable. And as I get better, that's one of those little details that I would like to really lock in on. While we were gone, Leslie took his leave. He had to finish early. He had told everyone there in the live chat. He said, I have to call it a night now, guys, but I hope everyone has a lovely evening. Take care, everyone. Peace out. I hope you're well, Leslie. Take it easy, mate, and I will see you next time or during the week when we're chatting on Facebook. While I'm just kind of letting those little bits sort of dry there, I just thought this is a perfect opportunity to talk about the wonderful, astoundingly generous gift that I received from another one of my viewers. This viewer is Dave. He's been following us right back from episode 1. Is never ever in the live chat, just watches bits and pieces on replay, supports politely from the back line. It's not Dave that's in the live chat over there, though Dave is a welcome guest anytime. Hi, Dave. This is another Dave, because everyone's called Dave, aren't they? And has recently moved house, and it is a avid collector of anything game related, especially miniatures and models, and is very, very talented painter. Dave's recently moved house and doesn't have the space to store most of his collection, or at least get a good portion of it, and wanted to rehome some of the stuff that he doesn't get an awful lot of use out of. And in this instance, he gave me a box of Skitarii. And if you followed previous episodes, you'll know that I'm really into the Skitarii. It's a new force that I've picked up. I really, really enjoy the Vernian, Wellesian kind of steampunk aesthetic, and I've really tried to capture that in some of my models, which I've got right beside me here. I'm very new to painting them. I've tried some sort of new, colours that I've never really worked with before, so a lot of orange. I've worked with some new products, new styles, new techniques, and I came out with a semi-decent result. It took a long time to get there, and I'm going to try quicker methods to get a very similar effect in the future. With that in mind, Dave gave me a box of Skitarii, and when it asked me, he's like, do you want some Skitarii? I was like, well, of course I do. That'd be very grateful. Thank you. I'd be very grateful. Thank you very much. I didn't expect to get the nearly £600 worth of models that I got from him. I've got them here. I'm going to show you. I'm going to put Brenda aside a second, just because I'm astoundingly... I'm speechless at the generosity, and this isn't the first time that I've received models from viewers. I received a whole box of Tyranids that I've barely touched from Leslie, actually. Let me take you over to the workbench because it'll be easier to show you here, while I just reach over to the side and I'll grab this box here. So there is one box that is not even unsealed, the Iron Strider, which is, I think they're fantastic. They got all the elements of the steampunk things in there. I'm not so keen on the ones with the weapons on the top, but in this box you can make it the one with the guns, or you can make it the jousty one. I like the idea of having dragoons, Iron Strider, Ballistaries. So you got a shooty one and a jousty one. I am a semi-professional sword fighter choreographer outside of Easy 8, and I really enjoy jousting. That my origins were in jousting, so this kind of has like a nostalgic appeal to me. I just like the idea that out of the Martian mists, a bunch of these guys come out of nowhere, lance you with tasers, and then disappear. I think they're brilliant. It's a beautiful model. This is only one of the things that he told me he was going to give me, and I was like going to buy him around or something to say thank you very much. It literally only starts there. So I've got one of those. Actually, I've got two, because there's one that's been made but unpainted. It's got their weapons on it, but thanks Dave. So that's already £50 worth of stuff just in those two miniatures. I've got sprues, so many sprues. I've got Rangers and Vanguard on one set of sprues, and then I've got the Elite Assassin ones on the other. So that's another 50 quid sat there just in these sprues without a box. It's unbelievable, the generosity. He's got a couple of painted miniatures that he gave me. This does have a base that's just sat to a side. The Onaga Dune Crawler. Dave is a phenomenal painter, and all of the iconography on here is all hand painted. And I can tell you now that even though this is still very, very good, that's a rush job for Dave. There is a gun, it's just fallen off in the box. It's fantastic. He's done them in Martian colours, and I don't want to paint over them. I'm going to get a little shelf to go beside me just outside the camera here, just to have them there, and just as a nice thing to say that Dave gave me these models. Chris has joined us. Hi Chris, how you doing? I hope you're well. Typical little hello emoji there. Nice to see you again, mate. I'm just showing off some of the models that was given to me by one of our viewers. Here's another one, unpainted, different weapon set on it. The other one has like a large cannon. This has got like a smaller cannon and the missile pod. So I'll paint that in my colours. Yeah, I know, and those are about 30 quid each as well. I've got 4 of these robots. This one's been just pre-prepared, dry brushed silver. I've got another one that's painted in the red colours, and 2 that haven't been made but are still grey plastic. So they're expensive. I mean, the list goes on. I've got a couple of Tech Priest. This is a beautiful model. I love him. He's wonderful. There's a couple of other Tech Priest models in there, different to this one, but I've got those in there as well. I've got 2 units of Rangers, 1 unit of Vanguard. I've got 3 of the Cataphront Destroyers, servitors on tracks with cannons on them. I've got 2 of these, one painted beautifully. In fact, here it is right here beside me. So this one's unpainted. This one is painted. Absolutely cracking. I will put photos of these on Facebook, so if you're interested, you can head on over to Easy 8 Online Painting Club at Facebook and see what's going on over there. Belisarius Cool. There's a lot going on that model. This guy is phenomenal on the tabletop, in the book. In the story, it's controversial. I know he's annoyed Stafford. And he's incredibly expensive himself. Just been made, never painted, never touched. I've got so much in this box that if I was to put it all out, I'd have to spend all night putting it all back together again. But I've got a couple more things to show you. I have 2 of the mini knights. They are the armatures. This is what got me into Skitarii in the first place. I just liked them, wanted to have a go at one. Adrian Dean, one of our regular viewers, sent me one of these. It wasn't on a sprue, but it was all kind of cut off the sprue. Very kindly donated one, and I was going to work up to painting it once I'd perfected my Skitarii scheme, and I was going to have this as like the centerpiece. I've got 2 of these from Dave, so 3 in total. No, thank you, gentlemen. It doesn't stop there. That's not the biggest thing. No. I might actually have to come away from the camera for this one, because in the box is a fully painted yet unbased Imperial Knight, which is £100 straight out of the box. He just doesn't have the space for it. This is not the only knight that he's got. This goes along with this Skitarii. Basically, in the box is a force that Dave has put together, and just doesn't play with it, have the space for it, and has kindly donated it to me. So I'm overwhelmed with feelings of of guilt, generosity. I am very, very grateful. I just look at it, hand painted sigils, everything. So I'm mind blown that the community feels kind enough to donate these things to me. I've got so many things here in the sidelines to paint at Easy 8 that I'm actually a little bit withdrawn, and I don't really know how to attack it, because the origins of Easy 8 was to help people get through their plastic hoards, and I'm acquiring more, and I'm forever grateful. And I think it's one of those little things. It's a security blanket. It's my hoard that I will probably eternally have, and I have to accept that. But it's a retirement project, right? I'm 40. In maybe 25 years' time, I'll retire. Maybe I'll finish it one day. But I suppose the idea here is to get better at painting and faster, so that I can actually work my way through it all. I just don't even know how this all goes back in the box. It's crazy. So Dave, if you ever watch this back, because I know you don't watch every episode and you're a very busy man. In fact, Dave was actually the first community spotlight we ever did, so if you're interested in seeing his stuff, I think it's in episode 1, all those many months ago. Dave, if you are watching, I've already thanked you in person, but you deserve another thank you. Thank you so much. I'm blown away by your kindness. Anyway, just while we're here, I think it's just nice to come away from the workshop for a minute, just while I put these models back in this box. I'm going to have to buy a new storage display thing to get everything up there, store it on a different shelf, like a different army or force per shelf or something. I'm overwhelmed. These armigers are fantastic. I think they're brilliant. I'd like to get one of those painted up and make a little diorama with a Tau battlesuit or something. I think it'd be great. Anyway, pop him down in there. I don't even know how it all gets back in the box. I'm just trying to be so careful with them. They've got so many delicate little bits that kind of come off of them. So yeah, that was my community spotlight and my thank you note for this week. My Skitarii force, I want to say, is growing, has grown. It's probably completed now. Whew, there we go. Let's bring Brenda back. Hi, Brenda. There we go. Thanks, Dave. Anyway, Stafford says, if you remember, I brought a 172 Tiger for Gaslands. It's huge. Yeah, Gaslands is 1/64 roughly. That is the rough scale that Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars are made to. And it's not a widely accessible model scale, so trying to find other scales that fit it is very difficult. What you can do is you can get Model Railway S gauge. That fits it very nicely. However, S gauge is the rarest of all the scales, I believe, and thusly is one of the most expensive. So, like a train is triple figures, so doesn't really play into the whole ease of accessibility for the game. It's a very difficult one to do. 1/72, I believe, is the closest that you'll get to it. So yeah, bear that in mind. But a Tiger is big, right? So maybe if you bought a 1/72 Panther, you could go. I don't believe how big it is on the gaming table. Chris says, I see Danny is showing off his new toys. Yeah, it is my. I used to get quite upset and kind of annoyed and a little bit offended. I suppose it was like the inner nerd shielding itself when people used to call them toys, and my partner like mocks me now. Oh, you got your toy box out, but they are, right? What is a toy? It's an object that you have fun with, and I certainly have fun with these, painting them, playing games with them. Yeah, it is my toy collection, and you can't take them away from me. Let's go to the workbench again. Let's get away from here. So, yeah, I would love to know if your painting project this evening is coming on well. Let me know if you're having any successes. Let me know if you're having any failures. I'd love to know what you're doing. I'm just looking to see if I've covered all the things that I wanted to talk about tonight. I think I have. Yeah, cool, right. So, I have painted all the vents on the side of the chimneys, on the top. I painted them on the arms, I painted them on the side of the guns. They haven't come out very defined in some places, but I think a lot of that is down to the fact that I probably painted layers on so thick in some places that it's kind of taken away the actual definition of the model but that's fine, it's a tiny detail. What I've just got to decide it here is my white paint. I was just going to put some white in the eyes, and then I was going to put some blue in there. I don't really know how I'm going to do the eyes yet. Oh, my paper in my wet palette is shriveling because I think it's dried out a little bit, but it's okay. I'm just going to put a little drop here. I think, especially with the Carnifex, she's only got one eye, and the guns have got small eyes here. I think what I'm going to do, though I would like to learn how to do them better, is I'm just going to do a contrast paint, so it will run away from the centre into the recesses that are on the sides, and it will give a false kind of glowy light impression. Would creatures have glowing light eyes? Mine do. I took it from Starship Troopers, though it is nowhere near the same content as the book. It's still a phenomenal motion picture and maintains to be one of my favourite movies, because giant bug, aliens and guns. What's not to like, right? So just mixing a bit of white paint on the wet palette there, which is being a bit temperamental. So I've got an eye just in here, quite hard to see, just one eye. Oh, I got a little bit on the yellow on the outside there, because it's such a bright colour, this white. I just need to take that away because it's quite noticeable. It was a shame, that was going really well. What I'm not going to do with these is do the OSL idea of lights kind of shining around the eye socket. If I ever do something like that, I'll leave it for armor pieces. But for these animals, just a nice, you know, noticeable eye. And eyes is something that I would like to get really good at, especially for Tyranids or creatures. You know, kind of give them some sort of alien-looking eye with like a vertical slit pupil or something, just for the fun of it. But I'm not that good yet. So for now, just something that looks kind of, you know, cool, a nice colour that pops a little bit. And now in here, now, this white is actually, it's got really good pigment, so it's going on really thin, but it's covering quite well. I might do like one more pass in a minute, just to make sure that that base colour is well established. Stafford says, brain bugs, that's what's not to like. What's there not to like about bugs? Brain bugs. When you say brain bugs, are you talking about bugs that get into your brain, or the big brain bug? If I remember right, in Starship Troopers, the big brain bug is a bug that gets inside your brain as well. That's a nice colour there. That's come out well. That's good. Okay, back in for a second pass. I'm just gonna get these rogue bristles on my Kalinsky brush. Tame you. Tame the beast. Draw them to a nice point. That's better. There we are. Okay, back in. Wonderful. Lovely, cool. a little trick I'd learned some time ago was to actually do like an outline to the eye socket by dropping a little bit of Nuln oil or some sort of dark colour into the socket. And what that does is it just it sort of isolates the colour that you're painting, and it just adds a bit more focus to that area, a little bit like an eyeshadow if you like. Now on a lot of Space Marines and things like that I've done, I've dropped Nuln oil in there, but my Space Marines have always traditionally been dark colours, and this is quite a bright colour Tyranid. So would a black be too much? Maybe. Would an Agrax Earthshade be better? Probably. Certainly for these little bad boys here, black might be just a little bit too much. Would love to know what you think. Should I try a bit of black, or should I go for a really dark brown? I'm thinking black for all of them. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to like filter a colour underneath. I'm just trying to outline it. Cool. Jeff says, I thought you said Brian bug. Staff says, no, not that one. It sucks your brains out. Yeah, no one likes a brain bug that sucks your brains out. Jeff, no one like Brian. Don't let Brian near your brain. Oh God, no. Right, let's get Nuln oil. Let's get Agrax Earthshade. So I'm going to put some Nuln oil around the eye on the actual head, because the head's low down, hidden behind things. It's not that hard, not that easy to see. So if it doesn't look that great, it's not a big deal. So a little bit of Nuln on the end of the brush. Nice fine point. I'm just going to capillary that paint into the area, and if I need to like redo that white eye, that's fine. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. It's really worked. Yes, I'm not filtering colours, I'm not going like all out, not doing massive areas. I'm just making an outline for the eye. It's worked really well in there, and when I put blue contrast paint in there, it's going to look really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop Nuln oil in and around this eye here. And it's got like a funny pattern around this eye. A little shape that makes it look like, I don't know, eyelids or something. Struggling to get it there to capillarize out of the bristles of this brush. I have too much of my brush on there. There we go. That's working for me. Can you see it? Does it work? And then from here you should be able to see the eye actually in the head there as well. It's worked well, hasn't it? I don't want to do that for every bit of detail, so like I'm saying around that, like these vents or whatever, because that's going to start making it look very comic booky, and that's something that I want to avoid. Making sure that I'm in shot. Yes, I am. The eyes on the gun here remind me of Dalek eyes. You know, when the Dalek machine opens up and you've got this kind of weird slime bug thing inside. It's just got like one eye and a load of tentacles. I believe John from Out of This World Models Minis is a big Doctor Who fan. A Whovian, I suppose you could say. As is my partner. I am a Doctor Who fan, but actually I suppose to be more accurate, I'm a Dalek fan. I absolutely love Daleks. I think they're well bad. That is colloquial British for very cool. I think that the Dalek is a sinister villain, and I love their design. And John asked me a little while ago, in a comment on one of his videos or one of my videos, we talked to each other quite a lot. I can't remember where it was, but he asked me if I was going to do anything Doctor Who related soon. Incidentally, during the global lockdown when Easy 8 was first born, because I've got a 3D printer, an FDM printer, me and my partner found the files for a large Dalek model, and I say large, he must be easily 8 inches tall, and he's all printed, but he's taken a lot of sort of post printing work, a lot of filling and sanding and gluing all those parts together. And once we get it all put together, and it is just a project that we dip into every now and then, I'm going to paint it up very dark and grimy bronze and gold colours. So when that happens, John, I'll show you. Maybe I'll bring it on the show. Jeff's saying that's a good effect. I like it. Yeah, it's very, very simple, isn't it? That black just around the eyes. The problem with Nuln Oil is it dries very faded. That's why I moved away from Nuln Oil as a filter line definer and moved into using MIG Ammo shader. Much better. Excuse me, bit of a cough, bit of a drink. That was cold and minging. What colour am I looking for? I don't really know. I want a contrast medium. This is a medium that is not like Lamium medium, which is just a standard paint medium for glazing. This is for making contrast paints. I've not really used it before, so I'm going to give it a go. I'm not going to use my wet palette. I've got a dry plastic palette here. Pop that to the side. A selection of fine blues. I'm thinking ultramarine blue might be a really good colour, because what's going to happen is this is going to turn it into a contrast paint, and it is going to make a filter over the surface, and it's going to run into the recesses around whatever it is. And then it's going to be darker. So ultramarine blue will be a really good colour for it. I have a slightly darker blue, imperial blue, but I think this is going into the realms of navy, and it's a bit too far. I could go for a magic blue, which is what I painted that car a few weeks ago. It's a lovely colour. This has got grime effects on it as well. But I think it's actually too light, so when it runs into the recesses it won't be dark enough. So I'm going to try with ultramarine blue. If I don't like it, I can always paint back white and then carry on from there. Stafford has put a comment in, so Rebel Dalek, not an Imperial one. Yeah, I don't really know that much about them. It's going to be a grimy one. Yeah, you know, a lone wolf. I'd like to find like a file to print off heavy weapons Dalek, because I think they're amazing. Just something that's got a massive cannon mounted in its chest, and then just goes around in one shot, blowing up other Daleks. Fantastic. What is not to like? So let me bring this palette in, because I can show you this one. I'm going to put a decent dollop. I haven't actually mixed this. Oh well, of blue in the middle, maybe a bit more than what I actually needed there. Who cares? And I'm going to get a famous mixing brush that I normally use for my airbrush, and then I'm going to get some medium. I don't know why I'm shaking this. There's no pigment in it. And I'm going to get a healthy dollop of this. Like that. And I'm going to drop that beside it. And I'm going to double that up because I want to. Maybe, do you know what? Even more. Here we go. The idea is to create a contrast glaze and not just thinning the paint down. So just mix them in. I think even from here I could probably put in more medium, because that's still very, very dense right there. So wash the brush up, and I'm going to pop in a load more. It's the first time I've really used it, so I didn't really know how much medium to paint ratio I'd have to use, but it looks like quite a bit, doesn't it? I don't think it's even a 1-to-1. It might even be like a 1.5 to 1 medium to paint. I'm going to go one more drop of medium. It might be too much. I might be barking right up the wrong tree. I'm just going by what I see. Let's pop that medium away. Make sure it's sealed. It is. Okay. It's got a different texture to it now. Let's see what this does. Could be rubbish. Let's move this out of the side because it changes the actual light on the screen. So first one I'm going to do actually on the head. I need to load the old brush up. That might have been too much loaded. God, I'm rubbish. Too watered? Yeah, probably. I did put in a lot, didn't I? I'm so cavalier. Yep, far too watered down. That's fine. Let's start again. Let's just do a 1-to-1, right? So if I went for ultramarine blue, just did like one drop like that, and if I just get my medium back again, and I'll do an equal size drop beside it. So if I get I won't get my mixie brush because this one can hold so much more paint. There we go. That's about right. That's about the same. I sprayed all over me. Here we go. Like I say, the world of glazes is an alien concept to me. Again, I'll move that out of the way. I might just wash that eye out in there. Will save me some painstaking work in a minute of having to go back and redo all of that. There's one advantage of having it nice and thin, is that it's just washed right out. Okay, cool. That's just bubbled on the top, and it's just made it go completely blue. See if I can remove a little bit of it. This is not working. Actually going back to a little bit of the ultra thin stuff to kind of make a glaze and filter the white colour there. We might need to come back. That's okay. Maybe I'd have been better off making like a normal filter. Let's do that. Let's throw caution to the wind. Let me get some lamium medium. Lamium, whatever. Back in with the palette. One drop of blue. One drop of medium. Still feels too viscous. And I know I often ruin it by changing it on the fly, but I'm going to add just a tiny amount of water in there, just to thin it down a touch. There we go. Not that much, just a little bit. That's much better. Okay. Back into the main eye. Got some weird comment thing going in the live chat there. Every now and again we seem to be getting like weird links. Don't follow it. There's no point. That medium has actually worked better than the other one. I think. I don't know. Like I say, I've got a lot of practice to do with washes and glazes and things. That's looking alright though. Okay, that's a bit of colour there. That's kind of what I was looking for. Do you know what? That'll do for now. I'm okay with that. I'm pretty happy with it. The main eye there is a little bit on the dark side, so I'll just get like a bit of a wet brush tip and just come in and take the centre away a little bit, feather it down. I've done some good lenses in the past, but I've never done them with glazes. I've actually done it by just, you know, shading. But that's nice. That's a nice colour in there. I like it. On the side of the guns. Again, I'll take some photos later, put them all over Facebook on Easy 8. Excuse me. Yeah, I'll put this over here. It's covered in contrast glaze because I'm a clever person. Right, let's have a little tidy up here. Might put my mediums away. I think I'm done with the crimson for now. Pop that out. There. Oh, hiccups every week. Come on, go away now. So really all I've got to do now, I want to improve this pink massive colour here, so I think I'm going to go in really thin, water down some Screaming Skull colour and just kind of blend out some of the raised areas, and I might go back in with a bit more crimson in the future. I just want to, it all looks kind of like the same, and I just want to bring a bit of definition to this area here. Then like my dad says, I might actually like do a different sort of finish with a varnish in there, different varnish. The vents have come up very well on the chimney, so the outsides are well defined with a darker colour, and the middle's quite pale. It's quite hard to see really here on the camera. They come out quite well. And then I've got to paint, blend these in with a bit of black, blend these in with a bit of black, do the same effect all over that I have done. And then these pipes, and then the muzzles or barrel holes, whatever you want to call them. And then the base. I know that sounds like a lot of work to do, but actually it's going to be quite quick. Jeff says, when you gloss the eyes, they will stand out. Yeah, do you know, I didn't even think about glossing them. So, yeah, I'll do that in a bit as well. We are quarter of an hour from finishing the show tonight, but the excitement will not finish at that time. So if you want to, don't forget that Easy 8 will be moving to the after party on Discord. If you are not already on Discord or you're not a part of the Easy 8 server, if you follow the link just down there in the comment section, in the description, it gives you the place to go. That's not really what I wanted to say. If you click on it, it'll take you straight to there. It'll help you set up a profile. Come along, join in the chat, look at all the pictures that everyone puts up. It's quite active over there. Yeah, let me make some Screaming Skull. I have a very blue water now, that is the problem, so maybe I shouldn't do that. What I have got, let's close that lid, where I test a lot of my colour schemes out on, is I've got a Carnifex model. I bought this really cheap on eBay, and it's just my stage for practicing colours, how they work with each other, the colours that I want to see, and how they play. And it's been through some abuse. When I bought it, it was an awful pose. It was rearing up on its back legs, and Tyranids typically hunch, so there was a lot of having to break plastic pieces and rebuild it, and it was missing all the spikes from underneath it. And because those spikes are separate model pieces, they actually have like a socket joint to go into, so if the spikes are missing, not that bad, but having little perfect round craters in its rib cage wasn't great. So for a bit of fun, I put some tentacles into it. The colour is completely out of it. It's where I practiced doing different shades of greys. I did a lot of non-oil sludge washing over it. It's dreadful. I practiced a lot of different effects with the yellow. So this is a sludge wash of Agrax, and if I compare the two, you can see how far I've come with in playing around with colours. If I just give him a bit of a dust off, just because he's carrying so much rubbish on him. The main thing that I've been using this model for in its colour palette life is on the side of the gun. Because it's so big, it's got a really big area to practice the colours for, like, all the gun sacks and things. I've always tried to convey a repulsive flesh tone on it, and I've never really been able to fully achieve it. So what I ended up doing, if you look at my Biovore model, which is on Facebook, is also on Instagram, is I used the Tesseract Glow, which is like a yellow-green paint. As you can see here, they separated. It gives them some wonderful effects, but it just wasn't what I had originally imagined. So while I settled on it with a few of the models, I still want to go back and do it. And you can see in here that the colour's in there. It looks good, it just looks too cartoony. I'm still trying to achieve the right colour. What I've got here is somewhere to achieving that. This is like a dead skin, like a pallid skin, like a death guard green, or a zombie sort of green flesh tone with a crimson over the top sludge wash. It's kind of blotchy. I quite like that blotchiness, but I'm sure I can reproduce it better. But I've seen a lot of Tyranid models going up on Facebook groups where they've actually just done it flesh tones, and actually it looks really, really good. So I thought, because I can't really do much with what I've got over there because of the colour of my paint water, I would just have a go at painting a flesh tone on it and see what happens. So yeah, going off piece in terms of the script, or at least what I had lined up for today. Let's see where this takes me. I'm going to get rid of that big massive feathers, probably from my down jacket. Where are my not elf colours, my flesh colours. So I've got quite a range of flesh colours. I've got dark flesh tone, burned flesh, barbarian flesh, bronze flesh, dwarf skin, elf skin. simply flesh, pale flesh, dead flesh, which is what the colour I was just talking about is. I think out of all of these I might go for like a elf skin tone because it's quite beigey, where if I was just to go to straight flesh, it's kind of pinky, the right colour. I think it's a bit too bright. Actually, under my lights, drowning it all out. Come on, lights, go away. It's really hard to show you. You can see the difference in the brightnesses of them. I even go down to pale flesh, which is just too much. That's very pinky. Might actually be a good highlight for some of the muscle sinews on here. So I might come back to that at some point. That might be quite cool. I'm going to give this a go. Just going to do it. Got dwarf skin, which I think is very dark. That's quite orangey. I think it's the first time I've ever opened this paint, so I'm going to give it a good old Waz on the Waz machine. The Wazmatic. The nonsense that comes out of my mouth sometimes. This is why Luke has made an entire channel on our Discord server of the total crap that comes out of my mouth. No doubt he's typing it in there right now. Right now. Right. My paper in my wet palette has shriveled to the point of not being able to use it, so I'm going over to the dry palette right here. I'm just going to blend it with a bit of water. I don't need to. I'm actually making a base layer, and this is an airbrush paint, so it's going to be quite thin. So yes, pop you right there. Let's get some of this on my brush. It's quite a nice colour. I've done very little with flesh colours before. I've tried to do skin tones in the past and I failed at it. So I don't have high expectations, but I'm interested and I want to see it. This one's got some really big thorns on his back. Look at those bad boys. Grr. And I don't have to be particularly accurate with this because it's just a test piece, man. But I do like to have a little bit of respect for it. One day this will go into a big box filled with alcohol. I will strip her all down and she'll be a part of my force. This has been very handy for me practicing colour schemes, etc. This gun is called the Rupture Cannon. I actually forget what the concept is behind its ammunition is. I just know that it's utterly devastating and has won me various games of large-scale games. Rupture Cannon. And if you stay still, you get to fire it twice. Because reasons. What I could do is come in with a darker flesh tone, make a nice little glaze out of it, and just kind of give this colour some variation perhaps. I'm speculating. I haven't had much luck with glazes tonight, so it might be completely rubbish. My lights here are really bleaching this colour out. I'm really sorry about that. I've just knocked my webcam. Yeah. My glazes haven't been all that good, so I don't hold high hopes for it. And obviously I want to do some crimson over it as well. But you know, I'm just trying to think. Maybe I'm thinking too technical all the time. Maybe that's one of my problems. Oh, do this, do that, do this, do that. One of the things I learned about the grimdark approach was keep it simple. Like you don't highlight or anything. You just paint your base colours in, and then you go over with the grime, and then that does everything for you. So I'm not saying that's going to work in the same way here, but maybe I overthink a lot of my approach with my colours. This is a good colour though, I like this. Wish I had a hairdryer right now. Just a touch more on a brush there. It's still wet. I'm trying to sort of smooth it out and dry it with friction from the brush. Yeah. This is certainly not how I would treat a model that was going to be finished. I'm just trying to spread the paint out as best I can and get some pigment on there. Lovely. Okay, cool. That's actually a really nice colour. I'm really quite fond of that, and I'm so disappointed that I had never really thought of this colour in the past. How it's going to come out in the end, I don't know, but it's starting off strong. The thing is, when I have such an active imagination. Once I get something in my head, I can't just leave it. I've got to do the thing to get it out of my head. If it's something story-wise, I've got to write it down. If it's a song idea, I've got to write it down or play it on a guitar or something to get it out of my head. If it's a concept or a colour scheme, I have to try it. I can't just leave it. Even if I've had success on other paint schemes, I've got to do it. I've got to do it until I get it, until I achieve what I see in my head, and then I can make my mind up as to whether I want to keep it or not. That's problematic because it's very difficult often trying to translate what's in my mind's eye to the model. I'm going to pop that colour back just there. And here's dwarf skin. It's quite a bit darker. Not that much, but it is noticeable. And I've got bronze skin. Like it's a leathery colour really. It looks like it's in the same sort of tone as the colour that's down there. Just thinking about other colours that I can use to, you know, add some variation to it. Got some barbarian flesh, which is very sort of muted brown. Burned flesh, which is kind of going into the yellows and browns. I keep knocking that Carnifex model. Yeah. Dark flesh tone, which is kind of going into black skins. But I think I'm just going to stay with a bit of dwarf skin, and I'm just going to give it some subtlety. If I just blow on that, because my airbrush isn't even pumped up. That really did nothing. Another bottle that I haven't opened before, so I'm going to give it a good waz on the Wazomatic. The Easy 8 Wazomatic. Fantastic. You're welcome, Luke. Giving you all the ammo you need. Beautiful. Right. Just gonna pop a dollop just in the same bit where that other paint was, because I'm just interested to see how the paints compare against each other. It's not as dark as I thought it was going to be. I can show you here the colour difference. The colour around that paint here is the colour I was just using. So this orangey colour here, beigey colour, is the original colour, and this is the colour that's just gone in. Pop that little bubble. There we go. I will make a quick glaze with that. Back to the medium. feel like I do actually want to use a darker one. Ah, never mind. No, too light. But a good glaze consistency nonetheless. I will quickly mop that up and I'll go to a darker flesh tone. Oh, we're actually at 9 o'clock. So do you know what? Let's just run over by a few minutes just so that we can have a natural and abrupt finish to the show. We got carried away there playing with this colour. It's a little on the darker side, that not on the dark enough side, that colour there. So my idea now is to move over to a darker flesh tone just to bring in some contrast to the flesh tone itself. Jeff has put in a comment. Chris says, I suppose talking about the Wazomatic, get it now for $10.99. Whoa, it's at least $39.99. Jeff says, I might be tempted to do a wash of dark blood red where the pipes and tubes meet the yellow bone, but that might be too much, don't know. Yes, that is what I can see in my head, and I think it's a good idea. What colour shall I do? Oh, maybe I'll do a bit of burnt flesh. Oh, I don't know. Yes, you're right. I think it would be right. It's just I don't really know how to describe it, but it's kind of like tender organs and pipes and intestinal bits or whatever. The idea was just to kind of look at it and be kind of repulsed. So yeah, that's why I went with pallid flesh or dead flesh, if you like. This dark flesh tone, this like the black skin flesh, is actually quite a good colour. Just generally, it's a nice brown. Make it glaze, because I've been so successful with those tonight. Yeah, it's a good colour. I like. Yeah, I think I can thin that down a bit more. That's a good colour combination. So I really need that dark flesh tone to be really, really thin and watered down, or really, highly glazed, so it can spread right out. I don't want it to be a dominant feature colour at all. I want it just to be running off into the biggest recesses and some subtle filtering, subtle variation, and I might be inclined to go over with a slight dry brush of that original skin colour again. I want it just to be pooling in some of the deepest recesses, so on and so forth. If I just... That's the glaze consistency there. Looks like poop. Someone's got a smearing problem. Tyranids, man. Can't take him anywhere. I'm being so haphazard with this. There's no rhyme or reason to where I'm going with it whatsoever. And then when it kind of dries, I will try and take it back a bit lighter to that original colour again, and then go over with a Caribou Crimson, because the crimson is a colour that I've seen people use with these flesh tones, and it really, really works. And if I'm anywhere close to what I'm hoping it will come out like, then I'll start again and do a better job of it. I don't want to spend ages doing a job that don't think is going to look all that good. But this is coming out quite well. I'm super rushing this like I'm being a complete noob, Who cares? Just having fun slapping paint around stuff. Anyway, look, that's a good place to stop tonight. That's a really nice colour. Don't know if my lights are too strong here, bleaching that out. It's nice. Really need to get some decent studio lights in here. If you know anything about studio lights, tell me. Tell me everything I need to know, please. Anyway, let's come away from here and end this show the way it was meant to be ended. With a nice little symbol up there. There we go. At the right time? No, I don't think so. I've had a great night. We're getting very close to finishing the Carnifex. I think that's the last I'm going to do on the Carnifex on this show. I might, once it is done, or she is done, I might like bring her on and show you. But I will put photos up on Facebook, and I always put finished or very good jobs on Instagram. Haven't been active on there at all recently, so I need to pick my game up on the Instagram front. But I will show you Brenda when she's done. I'm looking at all the details I've been painting tonight, and they're really good, so I'm happy with that. And obviously I just want to get this flesh tone sorted out so I can do the pipes on her guns, and then just the last few finishing touches, do a base, pop her on a shelf, and that'll be that. Of course, if you've been painting this evening and you've had any form of success or even failures, stick them over on Facebook, because the community can carry on talking about it during the week, and I would love to see what it is that you're doing. And of course, I'll continue to bombard you with photos of what I'm doing and things that I'm thinking, and picking through photos from Bovington, because thanks, man, I absolutely love them. Yeah. Of the models that I donated, the Skitarii models, I've actually got some inspiration from someone online recently. I'll talk about it on a separate day, but I've got some metallic techniques that I want to try. I've got to buy some new equipment for it, and you know me, I like to spend money on stuff that I'm only going to use once, but if it's really good, I'll use it all the time. That's the whole point. And with that, I might actually do a tutorial thing. I really want to move into something different other than just online painting club, which will always be what I do. But I'm really quite enthused lately about this concept, this idea of doing tutorial shows and then editing them and condensing them in something viewable. If you've got any thoughts, any feelings, any ideas, suggestions, or reservations about any of these ideas, then please hit me up. Stick them over on Facebook, wherever Facebook is. There's a thing down there in the description. So please tell me what you think, because I make the show for you as much as for me, and everything that you think is important to me. Yeah, there you go. It's been a great week. I should be here next week. I am being sent away on another training course next Thursday, but it's not too far away from where I live, and it is on the Thursday night, and I'm hoping to be back in time to run a show. I will schedule it. I will go forward as if it's going to go ahead, and I will stay in contact with you on Facebook to let you know if there's going to be any changes. I don't think there is. I just wanted to give you fair warn, because sometimes my job takes me away. But it should be all good to go next week. And until next time, keep on painting, work through that hoard of grey plastic that you've got. Stay safe. Please stay safe in this crazy, crazy world that it is at the moment. Be kind, keep on painting, and I'll see you next week. Take care for now. Bye-bye. The Easy 8 Wazomatic could be yours for $39.99.